You have a game-changing idea, and you're ready to shape the world. But three silent killers lurk in the VC space. These are little-known traps that almost every rookie founder falls into. If you miss them, your startup may die before you even raise a dime of VC. I've seen it countless times. Dreams are shattered, startups break up, and there's a long trail of regret. But I'm here to share with you a different path. In this video, you're going to learn the way to massive success. But first, a quick story. I want you to meet Mark. He's a visionary engineer from Stanford, and he cracked the code on real-time AI vision processing with a thumbnail-sized chip that doubled speeds. But disruptive hardware needs serious venture capital, and he hit a brick wall with banks. They laughed at him. He had no credit, no collateral. See, banks see risk, not vision. So, fueled by defiance alone, Mark walked into Sand Hill Road in Palo Alto, California, and he met a VC named Roloff. He was legendary for spotting AI unicorns. Roloff saw the fire in Mark's eyes, the immense promise in his super AI chip, and he didn't hesitate. On the spot, he wrote him a $10 million seed round. It was more than enough to build a prototype and shake the industry. This wasn't charity, though. Roloff's terms were he wanted 30% of the company and a board seat with the final say. But Mark saw it as the price of admission to the big leagues. It was the leverage he needed to go from futons to an IPO. So he signed on the dotted line and the money was wired. They were off. And Mark's first AI chip turned out to be a game changer. In under a year, his tech got traction in the advanced humanoid space and revenue poured in. Whispers of a Series B and even Series C echoed across the valley. But Roloff was a pragmatist. He knew that hardware innovation moves fast, and he told Mark it was time to cash out before a competitor caught up. He found a buyer, an old-school software giant that was hungry for disruptive talent, and the company sold for a staggering $200 million. Mark, with his remaining 70%, walked away with a cool $140 million. It's a life-changing sum of money. And the remaining $60 million, it went straight back to Roloff's portfolio, ready to fund the next ambitious founder. That's a story about how VC should work. It's a true partnership. But this is not a perfect world that we live in. And the shocking truth is that while some VCs are like Roloff, a majority of founders make three dirty mistakes that guarantee they'll never see a dime for a dream they have, like Mark's. These traps kill companies cold, and they destroy equity, and they leave nothing but regret. Are you ready to uncover these three critical mistakes? If so, let's dive in. And I want you to stick around to the very end. I'm going to reveal how I use this exact knowledge to build a company past $100 million in revenue from my garage. So mistake number one is the sloppy founder syndrome. I call it the death of the first impression. Look, if you're not precise with what I call the sloppy founder syndrome, you're not just killing investors' interest, you're telling them you can't execute. This fatal sloppiness shows up in three critical ways. First, it's the pitch overload. This is a firehouse of failure, and many founders believe more info equals more credibility. That's completely wrong. Nothing kills a VC's attention faster than a fire hose of slides, jargon, and random founders' tangents. VCs hear hundreds of pitches. They don't want your life story. They want clarity and simplicity. They need to know three things very fast. First, what do you do? Second, why does it matter? And three, what do you want? If you can't explain your startup in 30 seconds or less, it's called an elevator pitch. You're not ready. A clean, punchy hook forces you to sharpen your message to its absolute essence. Forget the fluff. Nail the essential problem, your unique solution, and the urgency in your funding needs. Simplicity wins deals, and complexity kills them every time. Number two is under preparation. The wing it disaster. When you're underprepared, too many founders treat a VC pitch like a casual brainstorm at their university. They show up with rough numbers, half-baked slides, or just wing it, fueled by excitement. Here's the brutal truth. VCs don't invest in ideas. They invest in execution. Sloppy prep signals that you can't handle the real work ahead. So do your homework. Know your numbers cold, your burn rate, runway, customer acquisition costs, lifetime value, growth assumptions, and be ready to defend them. And also, bonus points if you research the VC. Do they even invest in your sector? What rounds have they done lately? Walking in blind tells them you haven't respected their time or your own. Prepared founders win because they make it easy for an investor to say yes. But unprepared founders, they get polite nods and they vanish into endless email loops of just following up. One more thing though, never dress up to meet with the VC. Always wear what you normally wear in real life. The second you dress up or put on a show, they can smell it a million miles off. So wear only the outfits that you would usually wear on a day-to-day basis. And number 3 is the NDA trap. You are just signaling inexperience if you ask a VC to sign an NDA. It's the fastest way to make them laugh as well. In reality, ideas mean nothing. Execution is everything. And no serious investor signs NDAs at this stage. They see hundreds of decks. And if you ask, you look stupid and out of touch. So instead, build fast, execute harder, and stay ahead. Traction is your shield, not secrecy. Here's the core takeaway. Momentum is your only moat. Consistent forward momentum and undeniable progress truly will differentiate you, and then that's going to create the lasting value that they invest in. So if you get that right, you'll not only secure their funding, but you'll build a company that genuinely defines our generation. Mistake number 2, I call valuation worship or the vanity trap. This isn't just a waste of energy. It's a startup killer. So here's the deal. Your seed round valuation is just a tool to get you to your Series A, then B, and onward. And many founders fixate on hitting some huge number, thinking it makes them look more credible to recruit new talent. But too much focus on a high valuation backfires hard. The slower closes or raising from weaker investors who are desperate for a deal, that's all a symptom of asking for too much of a valuation and holding your ground. As Paul Graham famously says, early stage valuations barely matter. They might vary 5x from deal to deal, but the real winners return 1,000x. The real win is your growth, your market fit, and your relentless execution. That's where the life-changing payoff comes from. Not a slight bump in your seed valuation or clinging to a few extra percentage points on your cap table. So never treat valuation like a trophy. Use it as a strategic tool to attract value-add VCs. And if you build something truly massive, whether you gave up 10% or 20% at seed, it will not matter. Your slice of a multi-billion-dollar exit is going to be life-changing no matter what your valuation at your seed round was. Mistake number 3 is building for the VC and not the customer. Now, you have to think about this carefully because you also want to be prepared. But this is one of the biggest mistakes that founders don't even realize they're doing. Most of them do it unconsciously, and they're acting with anti-courage. Here's how it works. Founders come into a VC's office with conservative 2-year growth projections or conservative TAMs or total addressable markets. But VCs aren't stupid. They're thinking if everything your market and your product is true, then this plan you're pitching is a plan to fail because it's 1/10 of what it should be. And then the founder, their go-to excuse is to say, well, they're just being conservative in their projections because that's what high IQ people do. And they'll stammer and they'll say, we figured you'd prefer a conservative approach. We know VCs like to be cautious. And that's exactly when you realize that the founders are cowards. The moment a founder starts tailoring their vision to a VC's preferences, you've already lost. That's the quickest way to kill 100% of investors' interest. Why? You're a coward. Other financial institutions, they might appreciate this cautious approach, but VCs want courage and conviction over everything. If you show a lack of belief in what you're doing, or a lack of guts, a lack of absolute commitment, that sends VCs a chilling signal. And write this down. You cannot outsource conviction. If it's not you, who else is going to build your vision for you? Either you believe it or you don't. Either you're committed or you're not. Either you have the courage to build a massive, impactful company or you don't. This is a really high bar. I'm talking about tapping into unreasonable courage. I remember sweating bullets building my own company from my garage to over $100 million in revenue. Just like many of you are right now. You're sweating and you'll probably go home and start sweating again. Anxiety is normal, and that's all part of it. It's not that you don't feel fear. You feel it. The difference between a true founder and a coward isn't what they feel. They feel the exact same thing. It's what they do about it. When you pitch VCs, you can make almost every mistake in the book. You can show up in flip-flops and a tank top, and they won't care. But you cannot make this one mistake. You always have to pick the courageous option. VCs look for founders who face fear head on and still do the right thing. The right thing is the brave thing, the hard thing, even when they're not sure. The ironic point of this all is that this level of conviction is so rare that even if VCs don't invest in that meeting, they will remember you for years. Almost no one shows up like that in their office with unwavering courage. So, remember these 3 mistakes as you present your vision. The world needs what you're building, so don't you ever quit. And leave a comment below how much your company is raising or what you're building. I want to hear from you. And subscribe to the channel for more wisdom from the trenches. And I'll see you in the next video. And you can watch my last video by clicking right here.